Hi gamers, and welcome to a very special episode of Recent Collecting. I've mentioned this before on my social media channels, but mentioning this here for the first time in my YouTube channel, but I got engaged. Very happy about where life is taking me at the moment, and she's gonna be here in this video at the end, talking about a couple of games that she has played and I haven't. We've been doing this for a couple of times before. Just makes sense that if she's an expert on some game and I've not, that she talks about those. So stay tuned for her, and now let's back to our regular programming. We got a doozy of an episode here. I got a couple of big ticket items, lots of retro, and generally a nice bunch of games here. Let's start off with Terranigma. So for those of you in the know that how special this game is. One of the more valuable and sought after RPGs or games in general for the Super Nintendo, and it's a gorgeous game, just fantastic graphics and effects, beautiful music, and really excellent story, and really nice gameplay. This is like an action RPG, kind of like Secret of Mana, I guess. But made by Enix, so not Square this time, but Enix. And this is a special game in that respect that it was one of the very few games, and even fewer JRPGs, that were released in Europe. And not only that, it was released in Europe, but not the US. So usually all the games like Final Fantasies just came out in the US and never came to Europe, but this is the other way around. And that there are a lot of copies floating around in French and German and Spanish, but this is the English version, and this is of course the most valuable because of the bigger audience that English language gives you. So yeah, really happy to have the English language version here. Finally, I've been drooling over this game for, I don't know, at least 20 years. So finally got one. So really happy about that. Let's do some Switch games here. I got Hollow Knight. Actually haven't played this before, so really happy to pick it up on the Switch. And I'm really hankering for some more Metroidvania after Bloodstained, so this should really fit the bill. So got Super Mario Maker 2, the limited edition. I actually didn't have the Nintendo Online subscription yet, so now I have. It's a pretty cheap way to get it for a year. And Super Mario Maker on the Wii U was I played every level of it and enjoyed it, but it wasn't, of course, the levels weren't as good as like a full-fledged official 2D Mario. There were plenty of gimmicks, and they were quite short and stuff like that. So basically meant to highlight what you can do with the engine, the tools that you make your own levels with, so that's understandable. And I guess Mario Maker 2 is more of the same. The levels are not as good as a standard 2D Mario, but that's not to say that they aren't fun. And of course, part of the charm, or maybe most of the charm, is trying out other people's levels. So again, just a fantastic package, even more content and tools than before, and but I guess I'm still like, I prefer single player games and stuff like that. So to me, the main attraction is the levels made by Nintendo, and fortunately for Super Mario Maker 2, they made the single player experience better. You have this sort of story mode, campaign mode, where you're building Peach's castle with a bunch of toads, and figuring out which room to build next, and even the levels have this little mini tasks and things that you can do and achieve, so that you get the best reward for the level. So it's just not about getting to the end of the level, but you just have to finish it in a certain way. So that's good. Lots more to play here, basically. Really like it. And also got Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order. Yeah, I think this is a nice Switch exclusive to a, I don't know if you can call it a cult game series, maybe you can. But yeah, plenty of people were excited about the announcement, and here we have it. I'd say that it's like a guilty pleasure, a B-class game. It's not quite up there with the presentation and graphics, and but it's plays well, and it's fun, and just the fact that it it looks more authentic, like the Avengers game for the bigger consoles, just saying a lot. The graphical style really works, and also has quite a robust cast of characters. But of course, there are some guys missing that they're probably gonna release on the DLC later on. And we got a couple of more Switch games at the end. My fiancé is gonna be talking about those, so stay tuned for Dragon Quest Builders 2 and Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Continuing on here, let's get one of the second of the big ticket items out of the way. I got for the Vectrex Lightpen. Now this is something absolutely fantastic. I'm sorry I don't have actual footage of me playing with this, but you can check out some other videos for that. But yeah, Vectrex was a machine that came out in 1982, and has this big screen built into it. It's black and white, has vector graphics, but it's just gorgeous. I love the clean, crisp aesthetics. It move, the vectors move fast and scale beautifully, and there's no choppiness. There's no pixelation of the graphics because they're vectors, and just a fantastic machine. And this is one of the two peripherals that were released on it. The 3D Imager, it's this headset that you put on that adds three-dimensional pictures to the images there. But I'd say that one is really rare. I don't have that, or the two games that support the 3D Imager. Those are the only things that are missing from my complete Vectrex collection. Now that I got this, and the two additional games that support Lightpen. But yeah, you actually it's naturally the screen isn't a touch screen. Actually, I'm not sure how this works, but yeah, you have this pen that has something coming out, or maybe a little camera that's looking into the screen. I'm not sure how it works, but you can actually draw with this by placing it on the screen, and there's this little cursor that moves along with your light pen, and just an absolutely fantastic piece of machinery for 1983. And it even captured the imagination of my son, who's almost 8 years old, and he has his Switch and his mobile phone. But yeah, he was really excited about drawing and animating stuff on the Vectrex Lightpen. Here we have the one game that comes with it, Artmaster. Just a simple little thing that you can draw like 9 frames of animation, but those frames connect seamlessly. If you take an item and place it on the other side of the screen, so that's 1 frame and that's 2 frames, it seamlessly animates the movement of the points to that location. So basically, and you can control the the speed of the animation as well. So even though you only have 9 frames that you draw, the animation itself is a lot longer. that way. But just a fantastic thing. I'm really happy to be able to try this out finally, add it to my collection, and if anybody has any tips for cheap 3D imager headsets or the two games that 3D imager has, let me know. I'd be really anxious to complete my Vectrex collection. Yeah, but yeah, the 3D imager costs like $1,000 or something like that. So let's see if I'm ever gonna get that. But yeah, really happy to have the Lightpen. Then we got some GameCube games. Now this is something I've said previously with pride in my voice, that I don't, you know, I wouldn't accept, you know, shovelware games or sports games, old sports games on my shelves even for free, because I do like to curate my collection, and I think that you can have, you know, bad games do make your collection slightly worse. You know, it's not as good of a collection if, you know, you just have everything on the shelf that you can find. So it's not just about the numbers for me, definitely. But what I do, you know, have, what the exception is that, you know, of course, consoles that I'm trying to collect every game for, like the Nintendo 64 or the Wii U. So you know, I have to get all the sports games and the shovelware as well, because you know, then the value for me as a collector is in the complete collection, and it's not easier for me to just fill everything, you know, get all the bad games and you know, for cheap and stuff like that, because I'm trying to get everything. So that's part of the challenge of the collection. But when I'm trying to aim at here, I got 4 GameCube sports games. I got these for €1 each. That's a price I can't you know, pass up on, you know, basically because the cases themselves are worth €1 easy. But basically, what I'm thinking about, you know, GameCube it's an old enough system for me to recognize that the games are not as frequent to find as they previously were. And you know, you don't know if I'm gonna be collecting the GameCube in its entirety at some point. So I'd be kicking myself if I didn't pick up. You know, I'm remembering those €1 games that I didn't pick up back in 2019. So yeah, you gotta get them when you can. And I guess the GameCube is an exception. It's an old enough Nintendo system that I might do the exception of getting cheap sports games. So here we go. We got Ace Golf, NHL 2K3, FIFA World Cup 2006, and F1 Career Challenge. No, complete GameCube games are complete GameCube games, and you gotta get them when you can. So that's my reasoning here. That's not to say that my GameCube collection is you know, anywhere near sports game infested, even with these. But just wanted to get that out there. Then it's been a while since my previous Neo-Geo AES purchase, but here we have World Heroes 2. Of course, not the best of the fighting games on the Neo-Geo, but then again, very few games are, because it's such a heavily competed genre on the system. It is the fighting game system, after all, basically. But yeah, World Heroes, an old classic, one of the earlier games on the system, and yeah, happy to add it to my collection. I'm slowly creeping up on the 50% mark of every released Neo-Geo AES game, and yeah, hopefully I can go to Japan soon enough for me to nab some more cheap AES games at the source. Also got here a couple of Dreamcast games. Got Virtua Tennis 2, classic game, and I'd say that this is still one of the best, if not the best, tennis game on any console, basically. Yeah, this is truly a classic. And also got NFL Blitz 2000 for the Dreamcast, which helpfully doesn't have any spine text here. That's kind of weird, but yeah, I don't know how that happened, but maybe somebody got fired for that. Yeah. And then it's time to get my fiancé into the studio.
Hi gamers! finngamer asked me to talk about some games I've been playing, so here I am. The first one I have is Dragon Quest Builders 2, which is a Dragon Quest action-adventuring game that mixes in Minecraft-esque building, which might sound like a really odd fit, but it's actually really good. I loved the first one. The adventuring is really fun, like, well, Dragon Quest, and the building has this kind of constant sense of progression to it, and it's just a really good fit. And I was really looking forward to the second one, and it didn't let me down. I spent something like 80 hours on it, and I think it might actually be my game of the year so far. So yeah, highly recommended.
Great, thanks for that. Another game that you have played more than me is Fire Emblem Three Houses. Now I was coming into Three Houses, I'm a huge fan of Path of Radiance. I think many people are, and I think many people think that it's the best Fire Emblem there is. And I was kind of hoping for more of that, but I kind of was surprised at how much those Persona influences were in the game. And I don't know. To me, it's not that much of a Fire Emblem game anymore. The fighting is, the strategy section is Fire Emblem. But yeah, what do you think?
Well, all the stuff you hated is pretty much why I picked it up. I'm gonna get some heat for this, but it's actually my first Fire Emblem ever. I haven't played any of the previous games in the series. And I actually really love the life sim sort of elements in it. I'm enjoying it. It's kind of like a Hogwarts simulator at this point. I'm not super far into it yet, but I've enjoyed my time so far. I'm having some trouble with it because it's such a well-established series that a lot of the stuff in it, the systems and the mechanics, they're kind of presented in a way that makes it seem like they're really obvious, but for a first-time player they're a little hard to pick up, but I'm sure I'll get the hang of it, and I'm really looking forward to learning it.
Check out my unboxing of the very cool and big limited edition by clicking the link in the right hand corner of the video. So I guess that's it for the games. Oh, one more thing. When you were going through your drawers, you gave me 2 games, yes. So I have to include them here. There for the PlayStation 2, we have Dot Hack Infection. It says here 45-minute anime DVD included. That's a good bonus. And Sands of Destruction for the DS. You didn't want those anymore, so I'll be happy to take them off your hands.
Yeah, free games.
Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.